Alright, welcome everyone to another night of NizCast. We are starting off in the semi-finals of the Semi-Pro Cup Series as we cast every Sunday night. And unfortunately we didn't get to cast last week. That was...
10 seconds.
we were ready to go, but unfortunately when it came around to the finals, one of the teams had to bow out. And then we tried to get the other team from the semifinals to get their team together and play in the finals for us, but unfortunately that didn't pan out, so we didn't get to cast last week. But we're back again this week and hoping to see some really good games. Once again, this is the final the last Sunday of the month, so that means $100 is on the line to the winners. So a little bit extra than the bragging rights. We got some pizza money on the line as well. But there's been a lot of really cool stuff going on in the Dota world. I was going to talk about it last week. Obviously, we had AC come back, and he took a rather extended break from casting. He's doing some work with GGA, or Good Game Agency, the parent company to Evil Geniuses. And yeah, he came back and did some casting, and yeah, he did a pretty damn good job. So a lot of people were excited to see him back. And then, of course, we just had ESL 1 Manila wrap up. I'm not going to spoil. I'm not going to tell you who won. In fact, I haven't even seen the finals yet, but I do know the outcome. But man, ESL proving again that they are just fantastic at being able to put on a good event. Pretty much everyone was just absolutely loving the production. There was a few hiccups here and there, but yeah, it was just fantastic event. And yeah, of course, I believe it's exactly the same venue that we're going to have for the major, which is, of course, the next major is going to be in Manila. We're going to be casting a bunch of the qualifiers coming up. I believe those start on, I believe it's the 3rd of May. So we'll be casting a bunch of those. But let's get into talking a little bit about the Semi-Pro Cup Series and what we got going on here so far. Let's introduce our team. So on the Dire side, or the top, we're going to have the band of Misfits. And on the bottom side, we're going to have the Peenoise Sundaystack. And we didn't cast the other semifinals, but after that match finished, there was quite a bit of trash talk going on in the IRC, as apparently Noble Wings DC'd in that game, and that meant that AGG was able to win that and advance to the finals. But so we've got them waiting in the finals. But yeah, let's get into talking about this game. For our first bands, we've got the Invoker and the Outworld Devourer, two heroes that certainly very, very big in the meta right now, as we pretty much see those played almost every game, especially in pubs. As for our Radiant side bans, we had Chen, which they took a lot of time to ban out that Chen. They used up almost all the reserve time before they actually placed that first ban on the Chen, but then they followed it up with the Bounty Hunter. As for our first picks, we had Earth Spirit and Beastmaster getting picked up by Band of Misfits, and Spectre and Vengeful Spirit getting picked up by the Peenoise Sundaystack. Moving on to our next set of bands, Oracle was then banned out by Peenoise Sundaystack, and the Band of Misfits banned out that Faceless Void. So now we're all caught up. Well, not quite, as Lone Droid now gets banned out. But these are all pretty much picks that we saw, very common in ESL. So nothing too surprising so far. Earth Spirit going to be one of the big ones that was really contested. Venge was actually, I believe, the most picked hero in the entire tournament. So no surprise to see her. Of course, Spectre, I don't know if he was actually the most picked. I don't think he was. But he's definitely one of the biggest carries in the game right now. And he's so scary to go up against late. And one of the heroes he's paired with very, very well is the Zeus, and we see that banned out right now by Band of Misfits. And the reason for that is you get so much global presence. Of course, Nature's Prophet is another big hero in the patch right now. Once again, giving more global presence as well. So you always kind of have to be wary of that. And Puck's another big hero as well. But I'm not sure if we're going to see that this game, but it is one that, once again, will kind of synergize a little bit with the Spectre. Even though typically you don't have the, like,
reserve time.
How do I explain this? So The Zeus, of course, has his global presence. He also has his burst potential, so he can go and set up a gank. Spectre can haunt in and join him, or the other way around. Someone else can set up a gank. Spectre can haunt in, and then Zeus from across the map can Thunder God's Wrath to get a kill. Puck kind of lends himself a little bit more towards that starting point where the Puck goes and sets up a kill, and then Spectre haunts in to help finish off. And that's primarily what you're going to be looking for with your mid laner anyways. They're going to be the ones typically in the mid game to go set up kills, set up the ganks, and that's what Spectre capitalizes on. He just hits haunt, and all of a sudden he gets a bunch of gold from getting a kill. And he doesn't even actually have to haunt in. He can just not haunt in, still get the assist gold, and still a good amount of gold for him.
Dire team pick.
But those are our bans. Then we got our next two picks. We got Death Prophet getting picked up by the Peenoise Sundaystack, and Dazzle's going to be the pickup for the band of Misfits. So they've got their more defensive support to most likely go with their more aggressive position for support with the Earth Spirit. We expect the Beastmaster to be in the off lane, so they're just looking to round out their lineup with their safe lane carry and their mid laners. So we expect those to be going up against the Death Prophet and the Spectre, as we expect Death Prophet to be mid, Spectre to be safe lane, and the Venge to be one of the two supports for Peenoise Sundaystack. So I guess Band of Misfits have a little bit of an advantage here, given that they can say, okay, they've got a Spectre, what carry do we want to pick up that'll go against the Spectre? They've got a Death Prophet, what mid laner do we want to go up against that Death Prophet? So they're going to go with the Gyrocopter here, of course, another big pick, another big hero in the patch right now. And I want to say that he's probably one of the best carries right now to go up against the Spectre. And the reason I say that is, if you go late game, Gyro's not really as strong as Spectre. However, give him a Divine Rapier and he can do a ton of damage and just melt your entire team. So he does kind of have the potential to go up against the Spectre late game. But where Gyro really shines is his ability to come out of the laning phase. Once he hits 6, once he maybe hits 7, around that time, we'll see him immediately leave the safe lane, group up with his team, and go and get a kill and then push down towers. And then from there, they look to snowball off Gyrocopter's strength in that mid game, and that's what really punishes the Spectre. Not so much Gyrocopter's ability to kind of go toe-to-toe with Spectre late game, it's Gyrocopter's ability to put so much pressure on Spectre's team in the mid game that allows the Gyrocopter's team to do so much better, because then as you get to late game, Gyrocopter's then going to be so much bigger than Spectre, and of course everyone on Gyro's team is then going to be so much stronger because they're going to have more gold, they're going to have most likely more XP. So they're going to be stronger than their
10 seconds remaining.
The opposing hero for the other team in the same role.
5 seconds remaining.
Earthshaker now picked up by Peenoise Sundaystack. So that's going to be their second support. So we expect the Venge to be the more defensive of the two supports. Even though Venge largely considered a more aggressive support, she's going to be falling into that position 5 role, and we're going to have the Earthshaker as the 4. Most likely doing a lot more of the roaming around in the early game, trying to help Death Prophet win her lane up against a hero that's yet to be determined. Tidehunter was the ban for Band of Misfits, removing that very strong and also constantly rising up, I guess, in the ranks of offlaners as he gets banned out. Of course, one of the, I don't know if I should call it a highlight or maybe a blunder, was the Universe Ravage, or some people refer to it as a Shiva Ravage that Universe pulled in ESL Manila, where he ravaged and then didn't blink. And of course he was supposed to blink and then ravage, but he didn't blink at all, he just ravaged and hit absolutely nothing. But Tide's going to be removed this game, and of course one of the strongest picks mid lane to go up against a Death Prophet, the Templar Assassin, was the final ban for Peenoise Sundaystack. But Band of Misfits, they feel pretty comfortable with an Ember Spirit in this role, so they're going to pick him up and put him mid against a Death Prophet, which it's a hero that does quite well against Death Prophet. And on top of that, it's going to give them a lot more damage to kind of go with their Gyrocopter. Beastmaster doesn't really provide too much damage. He's got good lockdown with his ult. Earth Spirit kind of the same. He's got good lockdown. His silence is strong. And then Dazzle doesn't really provide much oomph to the team. He doesn't really provide that much extra damage. But he's good at amplifying damage that everyone else does. So he'll pair nicely with the Ember Spirit, who's going to provide that secondary form of damage, that with Gyro being the primary source. So that's going to pair really well with their team. And of course, both those heroes excel and pair up really well with Dazzle's ultimate, being able to reduce the armor of the enemy team, both of them doing largely physical damage. So that'll go well for them. As for the final pick of the Peenoise Sundaystack, it's going to be their offlaner. It's going to be the Darkseer. So once again, another hero that's going to be able to kind of help them push out the lanes and try and keep the pressure off of the Spectre and force the Band of Misfits to do more defensive and kind of more maintenance on controlling their lanes and making sure that they're pushing towards the Peenoise Sundaystack base and towards the Radiant side of the map. But it's also going to give them a lot more team fight as well. Darkseer, nice vacuum, can set up a huge echo from the Earthshaker. Can also set up a really good silence from the from the Death Prophet, and just kind of lends himself to a whole bunch more possibilities in their team fight. Of course, Ion Shell is also really good on a Spectre as well. Spectre is already a pretty large force to be reckoned with when he's on the battlefield there, and give him an Ion Shell as well, and it just gets him even more scary. But he's got to be able to get on those targets, so we're going to look to see if the Earth Spirit and the Dazzler are going to be able to help peel Spectre off of their allies if necessary. And of course, then you've got some lockdown from the Ember Spirit, although he'll largely be using that to try and net some kills. And Beastmaster, same thing with his with his roar. He'll be able to he'll be looking to use that more to lock down a target so that they can get a kill rather than use it defensively. But unfortunately, we've got a little bit of a pause here, so hopefully it won't be too long. Oh, Sulfu. Once again, guys, this is a Semi-Pro Cup series. We're sitting here in the semifinals. Winner will be going up against AGG. This is just a best of one. And then the grand finals will be a best of one as well. But the winner will be taking home $100. As this is the last Sunday of the week, or of the month. Of course, there's only one Sunday every week. But it looks like we're ready to go, so here we go. As we hop on into it and we introduce our teams and our players. Neither team tagged up as the appropriate name that they used in the brackets, but on our Radiant side is going to be the Peenoise Sundaystack. And we've got Pain playing their Spectre. Dave is going to be on the Darkseer as they smoke up, making it difficult to see exactly what cosmetics they're using. Then we've got just a bunch of hashtags or pound signs or whatever you want to call it, playing the Death Prophet. And we got another pause because his PC just crashed as we lose our Earthshaker. So once again, we'll pause and wait for him to reconnect. But we've got Ken playing the Vengeful Spirit. I'll wait until Earthshaker reconnects before we introduce him. But we'll move on to our Dire side, where we've got the Band of Misfits playing their gyrocopter is going to be Fear the Reaper, or just Reaper, or he changes his name, I think, every single week. But we're just going to call him Reaper because that's the name he's using right now. We've got Sulfu playing the Beastmaster. Where is he? There he is. He's playing our Beastmaster there. We've got Nerla playing the Dazzle. Symbol is going to be playing the Ember Spirit. Where is he? Why is it jumping so slowly? There. What's going on? I have no idea. We've got Symbol playing the Ember Spirit, and Eosin is going to be playing the Earth Spirit. So that was a little shaky. But we've got... we're still sitting here at a pause. We can quickly look over our starting items. Spectre starting with a Mango, giving him a little bit more regen, but also... The one thing with Spectre is when he uses his mana, it's pretty much just gone. When he uses like 1 or 2 daggers, he's pretty much and it feels like you're never going to get that mana back. And the Enchanted Mango kind of gives you that ability to get that mana back, and it also helps you kind of be more aggressive. And one of the things is that when you use up your mana on the Spectre, you end up without mana at level 6 when Haunt comes available, and then when your team's starting to set up kills, you're not able to Haunt in, and it actually hurts you quite a bit when it comes to your ability to jump in and get that extra little bit of gold. We got the 2 Observer Awards split for either team, so 1 given to each offlaner. And now that we're resumed, let's actually introduce our final player here. It's going to be Sed playing the Earthshaker, as he's just starting with a set of Observer Awards and some Clarities. As it looks like his team's going to be moving towards the bottom rune to try and secure that, and they're going to charge uphill, but their smoke's going to immediately be popped by Sulfu, as he was waiting on the high ground there. So unfortunately, Smoke of Deceit does not pan out for the Peenoise Sundaystack, as now they're definitely positioning up on this bottom rune location. They are kind of spotted out by this Observer Ward right now, as Sulfu got that down pretty early on, as they're actually devoting that 1 Observer Ward to scouting the bottom rune in the kind of more unusual location. But the other one's going to be placed in the mid lane to give them vision across the river and help their mid laner. As for Band of Misfits, looks like they've taken up position on the top lane here as well. Bunch of ping spam coming out, indicating that they're probably hiding in Roche Pit. It's not actually the case, but lots of pings coming out. And then another ping spam coming out that there's an Observer Ward in the mid lane. They're pinging out that it was right here. Oh, there it is. But it's actually right here, but close enough. Either way, both teams acknowledging the fact that there's an Observer Ward across the river for them. Oh, another pause. Reaper, unfortunately, is going to DC here, but a lot of pings coming out. As this will give us a little bit of time to introduce our lanes and see what we've got so far. So it's going to be an offlane Darkseer, as we expected for Peenoise Sundaystack. It's going to be going up against a Dazzle and a Gyrocopter. Mid lane's going to have a 2 duo lanes right now, but we expect that to basically just become a 1v1 lane with Death Prophet and the Ember Spirit. But of course we expect the Earth Spirit to be roaming around quite a bit, and we also don't really expect the Venge to be roaming around so much. We expect it more to be the Earthshaker, but for right now the Vengeful Spirit's sitting in the mid lane. The Earthshaker's down at the bottom rune, starting to make his way towards... I can't draw during a pause, but starting to make his way towards the pause as he's once again roaming around. And our bottom lane is going to be the Spectre going up against the offlane Beastmaster, as we expect, as it gets pinged out right now, the Beastmaster will be using this camp a little bit to get a little bit more farm. As he feels a little bit threatened in the offlane, he'll drop back, farm up that camp when he sees fit. But right now, we've got the Earthshaker going and blocking up that camp. Eosin going to come and push back Sed, as Ken starts stacking some camps in the mid lane. Still Sed and Eosin going at it here. Sed going down to half HP. Now Ken's going to come in. Now Eosin's going to have to back away here, as he's going to get stunned up. And Sed tries to get in front of him for the body blocks. Unfortunately not able to do so. That means Eosin's actually going to live here, as now he'll have to roll away. They did still have Fissure available, so if Sed was able to get in front and body block, it would have been interesting to see whether or not Sed was able to get that Fissure down before Eosin was able to roll away. And of course Eosin just denied himself to the creeps to take the faster trip back to the fountain, so that he saves a little bit of time and is able to get out on the map, as Dave's pushed up pretty far in the off lane here, and now he's been caught by Tunerla, but he's going to juke through the trees, and he's going to take a little bit of damage for it, but he should be fine, as Dazzle isn't really able to kill a Darkseer that easily. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Sulfu has managed to get first blood. He's dropped Sed, and Pain also going to drop Sulfu. So it's going to be a trade 1-for-1, but first blood goes the way of the Dire side. However, the kill on the Radiant side is going to go to the Spectre, giving him a little bit of boosted gold early on in this game. As Dave continues to get hit and harassed back by Tunerla here, he's going to get forced to use his Surge, as he drops down to 200 HP, but he does have a healing salve and a set of tangos still left, so he'll be okay. As for our mid lane, looks like the Death Prophet winning out so far, as he's sitting at 12-3 right now in terms of CS. Symbol a little bit further behind, 6-1, as he's going to get his HP drained away there by hashtag. Where you're going to come in, deliver the bottle to that Death Prophet. She continues to get a lot of right clicks in here on Symbol. Symbol is in way too deep, and loses a lot of HP there, but was just barely able to survive that swarm. As now he'll desperately sit and wait, trying to get enough gold to be able to purchase his bottle. He wants to be able to bottle Crow right now. He doesn't want to have to go back just yet. Well, we've got action in the bottom lane and a little action in the mid lane as well, as Hashtag was pushing up, trying to get some damage on Symbol. Looks like he got one attack off. But now in the top lane, Dave's getting forced back as he drops down again to 300 HP. As Reaper and Tunero start pushing hard in that top lane. Eosin now is going to rotate towards the mid lane as Symbol has finally been forced back to Fountain. As now he's going to pick up a TP drop by one of his allies. As he'll TP back towards the mid lane so that he can square off against Hashtag once again. And now Eosin will rotate away and just in time to secure the 4-minute rune as he'll get Bounty in the top location, Invis in the bottom location. And looks like Ken starts moving there and Hashtag spam pinging him. I think he wants to pass him the bottle. There we go. As Ken will pick that up, pick up the bottom rune and use it, and then probably pass back the bottle when he gets a chance. If he tries to make a move towards mid lane, there already is a sentry ward down, and they're going to see Ken's rotation right now from this observer ward and sentry ward. So they know he's coming right now. So it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get an opening. Meanwhile, on the top lane, I just missed the kill there as Reaper is going to get a kill onto Dave. Eosin rotated up there after picking up that bounty rune. As Sed's going to bunch of ping spam coming out, as indicating that the Earthshaker's there, but also indicating where you should drop the sentry ward so that they can get this observer ward, as Hashtag will be able to kill that observer ward, and no longer will Band of Misfits have that high ground vision to see across the river and prevent Symbol from getting ganked, but also just give him a little bit of an advantage so that he doesn't get harassed as much when he tries to step up and go for a last hit. Looks like there was a little bit of exchange in damage in the bottom lane as Sulfu and Pain have both dropped down to about half HP. But neither hero is going to be too scared of dying just yet. Once we hit level 6 and things like the Primal Roar start coming up, then we're going to see a little bit more action from these two heroes. But not yet. We expect Pain to be mainly jumping away with his Haunt, whereas Sulfu might be using that Primal Roar somewhere else as well. As Hashtag getting very, very low as he's got Magnetized doing a lot of damage to him. But Hashtag will first get the kill as Ken comes in and helps him out, and then they're going to get another as Hashtag was so close to dying. As Death Prophet will just barely get the kill there. Sorry if you hear a little bit of pauses there coming out from me, having to ban people from chat from spamming there, but we'll try to focus a little bit more on the action here. As that was a crazy scenario there in the mid lane. As Symbol was so close to getting the kill on Hashtag, and then he went down, and then it looked so much like Eosin was going to be able to finish the kill and get the revenge, but no, not the case. As there was just barely enough damage coming out from Ken and Hashtag, as now Ken, well, he's not going to have enough damage to get himself out of this, as he's going to go down to Sulfu and Eosin. But no, Sed with the fantastic fissure block almost saves Ken, but it does tick out from the damage coming out from that Earth Spirit and the Boar. Now Hashtag TP down to the bottom lane. We do have level 6 available on Pain, so he's able to haunt if necessary, although he's right here in the action, so he won't have to. He's going to throw the dagger as another fissure comes out as they slow down Sulfu, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to chase as he's going to get back to the safety of his tower. They're not really willing to dive past this tier 1 tower yet,
Radiant's middle tower,
as there's always the threat of those TPs coming in. I spoke about it in the draft. Level 6, level 7, of course the town portal scroll is already picked up by Reaper. His ability to TP in. If they were to dive that bottom tier 1 tower, he TPs in, drops a call down, and it's pretty much going to be a bunch of kills going the way of Band of Misfits if the scenario plays out like that. So we've got the Peenoise Sundaystack very aware of that possibility of those mass TPs coming in, especially the TP coming in from the gyro, knowing that he's going to be so strong right now. Unfortunately, another pause coming out. Is this our 4th pause? I think it is. Wasn't a long one, so we'll resume immediately as the G's start getting dropped. So now we got Eosin sitting in behind Sulfu right now. He did just show himself as he got in vision range of the melee creeps. Now they're going to rotate towards the bottom. It's just a regen right now, so nothing that's going to help them gank. As you could tell that they really want to put some pressure. The band of Misfits really want to put some pressure on the Spectre, but they know. They just absolutely know that Ken and Seth are sitting in behind trying to protect him. And I think they just got a little bit of vision there of Ken. Certainly now with the bird flying in, they're going to have vision of those supports. But it makes it very difficult for them to try and set up a kill. Now Nerla rotating in as well. Meanwhile in the mid lane, got hashtag up to 38 and 5 CS, and Symbol, who will now pick up that bounty rune, has kind of narrowed the gap a little bit, but he is still behind at 33 and 8. Meanwhile, let's check in on Dave, who's about to hit level 7. He's been denied quite a bit in the top lane, only staying at 25 CS. And here's Reaper with that TP. He's going to TP down to the bottom lane. As we got a battle starting to form. Fisher's already come out. Eosin's going to roll in. Pain's going to immediately get demolished as there's that Reaper coming in with the call down. And now Ken's in trouble as well as he's going to try to run on that Vengeful Spirit. Sitting at 29 HP. One more auto attack was needed and they'll find it. As they're going to drop that Vengeful Spirit. Sed trying to TP away and he will be successful as Eosin rolls on in, but just a little bit too late there. With all the heroes from the Radiant side either dead or TP'd away, it will be a free tower kill for the Band of Misfits. So that'll be our first tower of the game going down, but it is a tower trade that's resulting in a little bit of farm going up in the mid lane, but also in the top lane, as Dave's starting to push hard in this top lane, getting a little bit of damage on the tower, but really not that much. We'll look to see if there's going to be a TP coming in from Band of Misfits to clean up some of this farm. It looks like it will be Eosin. Sulfu, Symbol, Reaper, and Tunerla rotate away from that bottom lane, pick up the bottom rune as the Arcane rune, and start moving towards the mid lane. And look at this. Everyone from the Radiant side that was sitting in the mid lane starts moving up towards the top lane and putting pressure on Eosin. Eosin recognizing the fact that there is that rotation. He did have help from this Observer Ward, but immediately leaving that top lane and sensing that there's going to be a push coming up from the Radiant side, and Dire rotates away from that bottom lane, says, okay, if you're going to move up to the top lane, we're going to take this more valuable mid tower and trade with you guys. So one of the things that this is telling me is either Radiant didn't recognize the fact that this would turn into a trade, which I think is highly unlikely, but it's telling me that Radiant's perfectly fine with trading towers right now. It's going to buy them a little bit of time. It's also going to get a little bit more gold for their Spectre. Even though Spectre's not involved in those tower kills, he's still going to get gold from it. The AoE gold from killing a tower applies to everyone on the team. Of course, last hitting the tower gives you a little bit more gold. But if you notice, a tower was destroyed by the Radiant. No one actually last hit it. I don't know if that was them actually missing the last hit. But when you do that, it actually results in more AoE gold because no one actually claimed the kill gold from the tower. But call down the mid lane is going to have Pain starting to TP in as well. But immediately, his teammates are just dead as the Death Prophet, Venge, and Darkseer will all go down. Now it's just the Earthshaker trying to run away as Pain actually TP'd back to the fountain. He still hasn't haunted. As he's going to get the stun off onto Symbol, but it's not going to be enough as he's going to go down in full 4 kills going out on the side of Ben and Misfits. Triple kill for the Gyrocopter, and this is exactly what I said in the draft is Reaper. On that Gyrocopter, we expect him to get really involved in the mid game and starting to put so much pressure on this Radiant side team and put so much pressure on the Spectre, really keeping him down, making sure that he's not able to get the gold so that he's able to be that scary, scary force that we know Spectre to become as the game gets later and later.
What have we here?
Well, we'll switch on over to our net worth here as I press the wrong button. As we can see, that triple kill obviously helping Reaper out quite a bit, but he's up at 6,200 net worth, our leader right now. Second is going to be Solfu on the Beastmaster at 5,200, so a full 1,000 behind. Then it's a pretty much tie game between the two mid laners, as Hashtag sitting at 4,200 and then Symbol sitting pretty much right there as well at 4,200 as well in the Ember Spirit. Then it's a little ways down before we get Pain, as he's hitting at 3,600. But the main thing is a huge discrepancy between the 3,600 net worth on Pain and the 62, almost 6,300 net worth on the Gyrocopter played by Reaper. And that's the big thing. We've got a whole bunch of extra gold on this Gyrocopter, which is going to make him even stronger in this mid game going up against the Spectre. But the longer and longer this game goes, the more and more time Spectre has to eke out a little bit more gold, and the more and more net worth he has, the stronger he's going to become. Reaper getting drained a little bit there, but he's got a lot of heroes in behind him. He did have, there was a few heroes in behind Hashtag, but neither choosing to really hard engage there. Now Solfu starts to rotate in from the bottom lane, but it gets pinged out. There wasn't actually any observer wards scouting him, but of course they know from his absence in the bottom lane that he either would have completely backed and go to farm, or there was a high probability of him trying to make a rotation through this top, through this high ground. Bottom rune, once again, it's just going to be a regen, not really going to help them. Not really one of those kind of power runes that's going to either like haste or double damage or invis or something like that that's going to help them set up a kill. But Eosin was kind of low on mana, so it does help them in the long run. We got Necrobook 1, almost, well 2, almost 3 getting picked up, as he's almost got enough gold for that recipe, as the other one's sitting in a stash right now. So that'll allow them to further control more of the map, gives them the true sight, allows them to take down some of the Radiant Observer wards. As you can see right now, I'm going to quickly switch to Radiant Vision. They only have these 2 Observer wards, not really pushed out very far. They're very defensive wards, whereas the Dire side, their wards are very pushed out, giving them a lot more forward vision. But once again, we're going to see a trade of towers. As Dire starting to push the bottom tier 2, Radiant pushing the mid tier 1, and now we're going to see some TPs coming back as Reaper tries to TP to defend that mid tier 1, but he's going to get interrupted by a vacuum. But Reaper and co, they just turn around, get a kill on Dave there, as now Eosin going to roll on forward as he engages on Set and Pain, as Set's going to turn around, get a fissure. It's going to land on 3, but it's mainly just to help Pain and Ken disengage from this fight. As Pain, oh, he's going to get a rock kicked and hits him in the back of the head, but they won't be able to follow up, and then Ken with a little bit of a weird swap there will they'll both walk back to the fountain. But once again, 2 heroes going down on this Radiant side. They do lose their bottom tier 2 tower, and unfortunately they don't get that trade for the mid tier 1. So once again, another advantage going the way of Band of Misfits, and we'll quickly take a look at our net worth, and we can see it's kind of been that way all game long, just a little bit here and there, going more and more in the way of Band of Misfits. It's now over 7,500 gold in their favor, nearing that 10k mark as the graph continues to update, but we're just pretty much just past 9k, almost at 10k, and XP pretty similar as we're approaching the 7,500 XP lead mark for Band of Misfits. I'm going to quickly bring up our items here so we can quickly take tabs on where we are in terms of our items. As Pain looks like he's going, he's already picked up the urn, which is typically pretty telling that he's not going to go and rush for a Radiance, as he's going to pick up his drums. He's got the recipe there. He just needs the Robe of the Magi, as Eosin's going to get stunned up. He's going to get stunned again as the fissure, then the Arcane Missile flies on in. Haunt's going to come in from Pain, but they're not going to be able to get a kill, as Eosin able to roll away one more time as the drums get popped, and all 5 heroes from Peenoise Sundaystack are charging forward, but they're going to charge right into a call down from Reaper, as that immediately eliminates and deletes Pain and Dave from the game, and Ken tries to TP away. He won't be able to do so. The damage is there to burst him down, and now Hashtag at the bottom rune location is in a battle with Symbol, and is now Hashtag trying to run away. He will start draining a little bit of that HP as he tries to man fight, but it's just not a fight he's going to win, as he's going to go down, and once again 4 heroes dead on the side of Peenoise Sundaystack, is Said the only one alive this time. as it continues to be a very dominant game from Band of Misfits, as they're really just looking to close this one out. 15-3 is our kill total right now. Although we still haven't had any damage up on the high ground, any racks fallen just yet, as there's still actually 2 tier 2 towers up. But I feel like it's only a matter of time for Band of Misfits to be able to push some of these towers, as they are very much in control of this game right now, and Reaper now picking up the Sanjin Yasha.
Middle tower is under attack.
He's actually missed a kill in the top lane, as Dave getting a little bit aggressive in that top lane. Maybe he thought it was just Sulfu sitting up there by himself, but he was wrong. Symbol came rotating on in, Sulfu used the Primal Roar, and that's a dead Darkseer. As the top tier 2 tower goes down, the mid tier 2 tower is going to go down here as well. So now the only structures left for the Radiant side are those high ground tier 3s and all the buildings that are falling behind them. But Nerla continues to place another aggressive observer ward. This time it's going to be on the Radiant pillar. They did have vision of Nerla making that rotation and placing the observer ward from their own observer ward, so that should be counter warded up fairly shortly. But Band of Misfits, they back and they go immediately into Roche Pit, and you know, Peenoise, Sundaystack know this is going on. They're going to smoke up, they're going to charge and try and get to Roche in time, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get there in time. And even if they do, it would be a pretty scary fight for them based on how the last couple fights have gone. As Roche going to go down, Aegis is going to go to Symbol on that Ember Spear as we are Beastmaster, but then the Shallow Grave came out, just delayed his death. There was a lot more other extra damage going out. As soon as the Shallow Grave came off, then they got the kill on the Beastmaster, and then they got a couple other kills after that. But as said, and eventually Pain are going to go down there. As man, there was a lot of heroes going down very, very quickly. There was almost impossible for me to call that action. It was just a whole bunch of spells coming out. It was just heroes falling left and right. But at the start, the initial engage actually was looking pretty good for the Peenoise Sundaystack. But that quickly turned into, well, I mean, the Peenoise Sundaystack had a good engage, and it looked like they might have been able to blow up Sulfu, as they had a really great engage on that Beastmaster, but then the Shallow Grave came out, just delayed his death. There was a lot more other extra damage going out. As soon as the Shallow Grave came off, then they got the kill on the Beastmaster, and then they got a couple other kills after that. But at that point, it was still 2 for 2. But almost immediately following that, it was just all of a sudden, Peenoise Sundaystack lost 2 more heroes, and then it was just a matter of time before Pain went down as the last remaining member of Peenoise Sundaystack. But the initial engage actually went okay for them. It was a great, really great Shallow Grave coming out from Nerla to keep Sulfu alive for as long as he did. Had they lost that Beastmaster immediately, things may have gone a little bit better for Peenoise Sundaystack, but I still feel like with the advantage that Band of Misfits had, especially with the fact that they have the Aegis still on Symbol, that would have seriously helped them if Symbol were to fall early on in that fight. I still think it would have been a Band of Misfits advantage in that fight, but well, that didn't happen because the Shallow Grave was there from Nerla, and once again another fight going the way of Band of Misfits. As we'll quickly take a look at our gold graph, but we can already tell that our net worth, our top 4 are all on the side of Band of Misfits, so we can expect that lead to have grown, and indeed it has. It's almost at the 20k mark, which is that's a very, very steep hill to climb for Peenoise Sundaystack, as they are very much behind right now. But there are these tier 3 towers still left. They haven't lost racks, so they are still in the game. They don't have the extra lane pressure that losing racks would put on them. But one of the other issues is the amount of towers left alive. We still have 2 tier 1 towers on the side of Band of Misfits. They have gotten the top tier 1, but the tier 2 is still there, and of course the tier 2's in behind all those other tier 1s. That's a lot of gold left on the map right now from Peenoise Sundaystack, but they just haven't been able to push out and get those towers. And you know what? It's difficult. It's certainly going to be difficult with a Spectre on your side to be able to push out, especially up against a team with such strong mid-game presence that has a gyrocopter. It's going to be difficult to push out and take those towers, but there is a Darkseer and a Death Prophet, and of course we mentioned in the draft the idea of picking up that Darkseer kind of pushes out the lanes. It also gives them the more team fight, but it really hasn't netted them any kind of position to be able to take some towers. The one tower that they did take was a trade for their mid-tier 1. And then they went for some other trades, but they just didn't pan out for them. They ended up not getting a tower and still losing a tower of their own. Hashtag, of course, he's got some great tower pushing potential with Exorcism on that Death Prophet, but we still haven't really seen it used really too well for them because they haven't really been able to get to those towers to push them in the first place. As there's just been so much pressure put on them by Band of Misfits. We're going to see even more of that. If Eosin's going to roll on forward, he's going to get Fisher stunned up. But here comes the Haunts. This could be very well one of our final team fights of the game, as it's not looking good for Band of Misfits. Maybe this is exactly what Peenoise Sundaystack needs, but oh my goodness, Sed jumps on in, gets a great Echo Slam, but they just don't have enough HP to survive the fight, as Sed is now the only one left alive. Pain's going to buy back, but will he be able to get some cleanup kills here? As Soulfu very, very low on HP. We're going to have 2 more buybacks coming out from the Venge and the Earthshaker, but unfortunately that dagger doesn't catch up to Soulfu, and Pain not able to get any return kills there. So they don't get any return kills, but they do keep their tier 3 and their racks alive. So that's, I guess, one positive looking for Peenoise Sundaystack. That fight was probably one of the closest that we've seen this game, so maybe things are starting to look a little bit more up for them, but they did have to spend 3 buybacks just to not lose any structures there. Maybe they went a little overkill on the buybacks there. As I think with just Pain buying back, they probably would have been able to hold, but they did have buybacks on the 2 supports, so they spent them to try and get those kills. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out for them, but the question is, what is Band of Misfits going to be able to do? Going forward from here is now we're going to have some more items getting picked up. We'll quickly bring up our items as well. So we've got, well, a lot of items coming out on the Dire side. A Symbol, he's got his Boots of Travel, he's got his Battle Fury, now picking up a Blink Dagger. It's not showing up there as it's flying in on the Courier right now to deliver to him. But we've also got a Talisman of Evasion that's sitting on the Courier for Reapers. He's looking to complete his Butterfly to go with his S&Y and his Helm of the Dominator. And it's just so many items on the Dire side. Soulfu, we already mentioned the fact that he had his Necrobook, Necrobook 3 pretty much completed, but he's also picked up a Vlad's, and he's got a Plate Mail as well. As the tier 3 goes down, and there's no buybacks available for Peenoise Sundaystack this time around, so they have to be very careful with this fight, but they're already losing their racks, and it's so difficult for them to engage here. They have to sit back and really wait for a misplay coming out from Band of Misfits for them to take the fight, because this could very well be the last fight of the game if they lose this here. I fully expect, assuming Band of Misfits doesn't lose too many heroes in the team fight, they could just end the game. Now they're going to start chipping away at this tier 3 tower. Ken, hashtag, Pain, Dave, and where's Sed? Sed's down here, he's waiting. They're smoked up, so they're looking to get a good engage here, but their tier 3 is going down very quickly. The engage is going to have to come out soon, but hashtag and Ken are down. There's no buyback available for them. There comes Sed as he comes jumping on in, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. They have dropped Reaper, and Eosin, maybe it will be, as Pain will get another kill there. They have maybe done enough here. As yes, Band of Misfits going to be forced back. Symbol actually going to TP away here, and he will be able to do so. Pain doesn't have any way of interrupting. So they have done enough to hold so far. But man, did they wait, as Symbol's actually going to jump back in, and oh no, Pain's going to go down here. Nerl actually snaking the kill with the heal bomb on that Dazzle. But with that Spectre dead, they might be able to take this tier 3 tower. It's going to be a little bit risky because the Vengeful Spirit and the Death Prophet just respawning. So Symbol won't risk it. He'll back away, as they should be able to take that easily with another push. But man, the Peenoise Sundaystack, they really waited. Sat back, waited for that prime initiation, and they took the best chance they could find, and it panned out for them. They got some kills there, and they were looking very much in favor of that fight. In fact, early on in the fight, I wasn't so sure, but then they got that kill on Reaper, and then things immediately started turning around, as a lot of damage came out, and they were able to get that kill on Reaper and then also on Eosin. And suddenly, with 2 heroes down, Band of Misfits weren't looking too favorable in that fight. They did end up getting 2 kills of their own, but then it was just Peenoise Sundaystack. They were good on HP, and they just started charging forward, and Band of Misfits just had to start running away. But immediately, Band of Misfits come charging right back, And there's a lot of stuff on cooldown here for our Radiant side, but take a look at the cooldowns of the ultimates on the Dire side. They're all up, they're all available, and they're going to look to push here with Exorcism still on cooldown for 25 seconds. We got Echo Slam on cooldown for 17 seconds. Haunt on cooldown for 6 seconds, but still, they're not really going to be able to engage until all those ultimates are up, and certainly Bandit Misfits know the timer of those, and they're going to look to take advantage of that. But we're going to have Echo Slam up in 3 seconds. Zed waiting in the background. There we go. Primal Roar's already out. Here he comes, charging on in. Echo Slam going to start up a bunch of heroes, and another great initiate from Peenoise Sundaystack. As hashtag very, very low. He will get smacked one more time by Eosin, so he's going to go down. Zed now getting focused down by Symbol, who will get the kill there. Eosin rolls on forward, and good game, well played, will get called. As Payne, the only remaining member of Sundaystack, will not be able to do it himself, as his team's going to tap out. The GGs will get called, as Bandit Misfits will be advancing to our finals, where they're going to be going up against AGG. The winner of that best of one will take home $100 in our Semi-Pro Cup Series Grand Finals. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Once again, guys, I was Niz. Thanks so much for watching the cast. If you did enjoy it, hit that follow button on twitch.tv/NizCast. Of course, every game I cast will be uploaded to my YouTube channel as well, as youtube.com/NizCast. And to know when I go live next time, you can always follow me on twitter.com/NizCast. But we will be back in a few minutes with that Grand Final, so don't go anywhere, as we'll be right back.